And good morning, YouTube. I just saw one of the cats up on the fence looking down at me. Yeah, rolling out a tiny bit late. I didn't oversleep. I just kind of, or maybe technically I did oversleep. I was trying to handle a couple of things out the door and didn't get out the door as quick as I was hoping to. So it's Monday, June 12th. 2023, 4:21 a.m. right now. So, yeah, initially I was always trying to roll out of my place right at 4. Lately I've been trying to roll out at like 4:15. And, yeah, I'm a little bit later than that today. So, hopefully I don't end up being late. I guess we'll shoot video on the way there and find out. I don't like to be one of those persons that's having to drive an unsafe speed on I-10 because I'm running late. I don't know. I don't see that as a justification for driving for speeding. Yeah, I had to. Cats are going nuts, so I thought I better. And I already fed them last night before I went out to, shortly before I went out to Newtown. But I'm not feeding them wet food twice a day. They get kibble twice a day. They can tough that out. If they're not hungry enough to eat the kibble, they're just not that hungry. All my other cats survived on nothing but kibble, so Priscilla's freaking spoiled them with the wet food. That shit's expensive, by the way. Anyway, sorry, I'm still a little tired, but I did manage to wake up, and I did doze off shortly after I got. Well, not immediately after I got home from Hideaway, but yeah, not too terribly long after I got back from Hideaway. So I guess I am actually kind of getting accustomed to taking a nap at this time. I don't like it. just for the record, I don't like it, and I don't think it's particularly good for me trying to do that, but I sure don't see me getting accustomed to, sleeping a full night and missing the night hours and then waking up at this time of day after a full night's sleep. I don't see that happening. Anyway, it's a good thing the cats are going nuts, because I could have sworn I checked the water when I fed them this afternoon. This evening, whatever the hell time it was. Oh goodness. Sorry, still a little groggy. Yeah, they were out of water, so that would explain them going nuts. So, gave them some kibble, gave them some water. Got myself ready, kind of checked on where I had left off. I was kind of trying to work on, as I was laying in bed, I was trying to work on the additional editing and stuff. The amount of work that is going into the current chapter of the vlog that I'll be uploading next, which I was hoping to have it uploaded before I headed out to work today. Because there's no Wi-Fi at work. I'm sure I mentioned that several times. In fact, half the time on my breaks and on my lunch break, I have no internet whatsoever. At best, I have one bar, and it's really intermittent and sketchy. But yeah, quite often my phone just says no service, and that's the iPhone. Neither of the Obama phones even have service on them right now. So no Wi-Fi equals no service. So yeah, I'm either uploading that shit at home or I'm not uploading that shit. So it did not get uploaded. It won't get uploaded until I get home. I mean, I guess there's always a chance I might stop someplace with Wi-Fi on my way home. There's always a chance of that. But most likely not. Anyway, while feeding the cats, I don't know what the hell I brushed up against in my daughter's room, but I cut the shit out of my right leg. It stings. It's going to leave a mark for a while. I guess that's a sign I just really need to straighten up that room. And it's one thing if I got to walk around the obstacles to feed the cats, but it's like a whole other thing of cutting my leg doing it. So I was about half asleep trying to finish the stuff I'm doing on uploading my basically the chapter for last Friday, my vlog last Friday. I want to say after work, but it actually includes like a tiny bit of video from before work. It's all going to be pieced together. And the biggest bulk of that is the security guard that got all psycho and stalked me across the shopping center there at Arcadia Crossing. Anyway, Obama phone 3 sitting on my phone on my passenger seat right now, and it's stabilizing the last unstabilized bit of video for it, which for some reason I thought I had done. I don't know, I'm just finding it really tedious to remember the whole process of bouncing the files back and forth from the iPhone to Obama phone 3 and then finding the files on there, running the stabilization filter on it, and then bouncing it back to the iPhone. It's not being easy, which kind of makes me irritated at the makers of various smartphones. How it's so easy for Androids to bounce files back and forth to other Androids, and it's so easy for iPhones to bounce files back and forth to other iPhones wirelessly. But they've deliberately made it to where it's difficult to move something from an Android to an iPhone. I don't know, sometimes I'm just, wondering why federal regulators or European regulators haven't insisted on some kind of compatibility within that, but of course there's bigger compatibility issues to be battled out. I remember trying to think what day it was. I think it was last. I remember I had a really, really bad bad day after work last week coming home. And I know I didn't vlog that day, but I know I talked about it afterwards. Probably Monday after work. So I remember I don't think I went in. I don't think I went in last Tuesday. Wow, that means my next paycheck is going to be even smaller. Yeah, it's not going to be a full 40 hours. Because I didn't get my overtime day to make up for the day I didn't go in. I didn't look at all the messages that Priscilla sent me on Snapchat. I did look at the one text message she sent my iPhone, and it was just one of those things that just, I don't know if it just made me hate her more or made me hate women more. But she's kind of like, well, you didn't specifically ask if you could borrow my car. I gave you pretty much up to the minute updates of what was going on as far as, hey, I got an overtime shift for tomorrow. I'm working on where's your car? Your car is parked I mean, I kind of gave her updates as I was doing stuff Friday afternoon as far as waiting for, or was it Thursday afternoon? No, it was Friday afternoon. As I was waiting for, trying to put Friday afternoon back together. And at this point, like, the biggest thing on Friday afternoon in my head was the psychotic security guard, because that's what ended up generating the most vlog footage. But that wasn't my biggest challenge of the day. My biggest challenge of the day was after getting off work, trying to get Priscilla's vehicle back to her, and trying to get myself over to my apartment, and then get my vehicle started and get my vehicle over to Rob's shop and keep in touch with Rob. That was kind of the biggest ordeal. While at the same time keeping in touch with Priscilla and let her know what was going on. But I do know as I was doing that, that communication happened definitely before the whole ordeal with the security guard. And she, that I definitely let her know. I mean, I can go back and review the text messages, but I'm pretty damn sure I let her know that I had an overtime shift that I needed to be to the next day, and that I was able to start at 4 a.m. instead of 5 a.m., so that would be helpful, and that I was, I kind of let her know as things are going that yeah, I couldn't hang around at your place, was just there barely long enough to charge the iPhone. That the iPhone, and I'm pretty sure I told her at that time, hey, the iPhone battery's bad. So if she's wondering sometimes why I'm not responding to her as quickly, the iPhone battery is bad. The iPhone dies if I'm not constantly keeping power on it. And the iPhone is the only one that has service. So quite often, like, iPhone dies, the other ones have no way of contacting the internet unless I'm somewhere near Wi-Fi. So my phone dies, you're not reaching me, I'm not able to text you, whatever. And it's right now it's the only gateway to get the other ones through as far as for using Snapchat if I'm bouncing between them. So okay, stabilization filter's on. Now I got it working on saving. Obama phone 3. Just glanced over and saw where it was. Hit that button. At least I'm still making progress on that. So anyway, going back to Monday, which was shit. Last Monday, I was still completely not even speaking to Priscilla, although she was still occasionally like in stalker mode with me. That was the day I recall I was super tired because this schedule is just kicking my ass. And then it was super, super hot. That was the hottest day of the year so far. It's only supposed to be in the mid-90s today, so it shouldn't be too terribly bad. And hopefully, whatever Rob did to the car this last time around, the air conditioning and the issue with the temperature gauge overheating will be better. I mean, obviously it's fine now. It's always fine at night. Oh yeah, the air conditioning's blowing cold if I turn it on. It's only about 75 degrees outside right now, so no need for air conditioning right now. So, but yeah, that was a chaotic day Monday. I remember when I was trying to do the vlog and talk about what happened, I practically had a mental breakdown because I thought I had broken the charging port of my iPhone. But yeah, that was a horrible day. I was just so tired, hot, sweaty, miserable, tired. I hate the commute home from work. As much as I hate the commute, this commute to work, the commute home is 10 times worse. Because there's sunlight, and there's traffic, and there's more traffic, and then I'm battling with stressing about the temperature gauge on my car, and air conditioning maybe not working on my car, and I need to see my traffic view, but then the iPhone's always having issues with overheating because of all the heat in my car. Yeah, it's fucking miserable. I need to probably put a little bit more focus on trying to find a job that is not on this schedule. Preferably another warehouse job where I can be working graveyards and get paid a night shift differential. Because for whatever reason, the logistics industry thinks that this shift I'm working right now is the most desirable one and shouldn't pay as much. Which is asinine to me. I fucking hate this shift. I'd much rather be working graveyard shift. If there was a differential and higher pay on this shift and it paid less to work graveyard, I would still want to work graveyard because I just don't like being awake these hours. I don't like commuting these hours. Alright, got another single lane change going on.
It's still Friday, June 9th.
Alright. Oh, I was thinking I could during my lunch break edit that video together, but I won't be able to. I just realized so I just got the last segment stabilized and saved and processed over on Obama Phone 3, and I just realized that I'm not going to be able to upload it to the cloud because Obama Phones 3 and 4 will not have access to Wi-Fi after I get off work because of this job. That's another thing. Yeah, I'm not happy in a job where I don't have access to Wi-Fi at work. That might not be a big deal to most people. That is a huge deal to me. So, huge deal to me. And I don't know how normal that is. I really don't. I've never really talked to other people. Hey, do you have Wi-Fi at work? But it's something I've certainly always took for granted at Amazon. And then, prior to Amazon, I worked at bars, and pretty much every bar has Wi-Fi. I mean, I know there are times the Wi-Fi wasn't particularly good over at Bullock's Cocktails, but I do remember that during most of that time period, the white truck, man, creeping up so fast on the traffic in front of it. Never understood that mentality of people driving on the freeway where you're just like rushing right up on the vehicle behind you. That's just what you're doing is wedging out space of other people that may need to change lanes. Talking about how it was such a miserable day coming home on Tuesday that I think ultimately had a big deal with why I didn't end up going to work on Monday. Or I'm sorry, miserable coming home for work on Monday, which I think had a lot to do with why I didn't go to work last Tuesday, which has a lot to do with why my Friday paycheck is going to be smaller. Of course, I would have more than made up for that had Priscilla hooked me up with letting me drive her vehicle, and I totally, apprised her the whole time of what was going on. Did I specifically ask, hey, can I use it? I mean, But she had pretty much told me that day when I drove the vehicle to work that day, hey, I'm gonna, I'm gonna help you out. Make sure you get to work so you don't lose your job. Because obviously, you need a job, you need your income. Like she had said that to me. Kind of like when she came over to my place and she asked, hey, can I use your toilet the first time I was there, the first time she was there? It's not like I expect her to ask me every single time when she was at my place, especially when she was living there, if she could use the toilet. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of thought, and maybe that's kind of a bad analogy, but, she told me she was going to help me out, make sure I make it to work. Took care of me on that front on Friday, so didn't expect that to access to suddenly be denied the very next day, as I'm keeping her apprised on what the situation is in my vehicle and the situation as I had last told her. Now she ended up sleeping for quite a bit of the day on Friday, and I don't know that I mentioned that. I know when I got done dealing with psycho security guard, I got home, I was exhausted, put my cheese in the fridge and laid down and knocked out. Now I think I only slept for about 3 hours, but I did knock out pretty hard after that. Which that's the time that I want to be getting my regular sleep in. Of course, I want that to be an earlier time. I didn't have the luxury of going to sleep right after work because I had to deal with getting my car over to Rob's and then getting back via public transportation. And I also needed to deposit my paycheck because I'm getting paid with fucking physical checks as opposed to just getting direct deposits, so I don't have to worry about that sort of shit. It's another thing I'm not liking about this job. I think this is the exit only lane for Bullard to my right here. Really hard to read these signs so I get right on them since they're not lit. Yeah, Bullard Avenue. 4:44 right now, so it looks like I'm gonna make it to work on time. Oh no, this is only Pebble Creek Parkway here. Around this guy, he's going kind of slow. But at least he's doing it in the right lane where he should be doing it. They've renamed some of these streets always still kind of messes with my head, because Pebble Creek Parkway and Estrella Parkway are newer street names that were not names for major roads out here, and I forget what the names were originally for that. But I know further north where I'm going through going across by the warehouse, like it still has the original names, not the renames with the parkways on them to make this area sound more attractive to people buying houses out here. Next exit is Sarville. Come to think of it, I think Pebble Creek Parkway is actually the name for what used to be. Reams, because I think that's the road that the warehouse is on, is Reams. I don't know, still hard keeping all these straight in my mind, because those are all street names that my head associates with too far out. Alright, I'm an asshole in a motorcycle who can't be bothered to go at a reasonable speed, must be in and out of people. it, but she had already told me that, that she was gonna, do her best to make sure that I was able to get to work and back. And I had told her that, yeah, I'm going in tomorrow at 4 a.m. And then I had told her after I dropped off the vehicle, and I think I told her again, later when I got home, because she had fallen asleep. Like somehow she gets off work at 6 o'clock, so I'm assuming she fell asleep shortly after 6. So I asked her why she didn't come sleep with me at my place. Okay, we're back together, so shouldn't we be sleeping together? And why she didn't come over to my place after she got off work, because she knew that's where I was. And her response, and this is something she does all the time that really frustrates me. Like, why didn't you come sleep with me? Oh, I was tired, I sat down and I fell asleep. You need to have a little more control over where and when you fall asleep. Come on, now you're over 50, you should be able to control that. So it's possible by the time I sent her that message that it was after she had already fallen asleep, that Rob would not be getting it done because he had to take off somewhere, but that I got the vehicle there. But I had already told her, going into, long before we ever met at the bar, she was already aware that, A, I was depending on her to help me out with the ride, because she promised me she would help me out with rides. Did I ask specifically for Saturday morning? No. But I told her I had a shift Saturday morning. And told her that I got my vehicle to Rob's, and told her that, yeah, Rob wasn't going to have it done. So, I was expecting she's smart enough to put 2 and 2 together and know, yeah, I'm going to rely on you for a ride to work Saturday morning. Not necessarily on her, but on her vehicle. So anyway, the text message from her said something along the lines of, well, you didn't specifically ask. And then she's like, I told you what's wrong with my vehicle. When I drove it, I didn't see anything particularly wrong with it. It seemed to be running just fine. I was keeping my eye on the temperature gauge. I never saw it climb up whatsoever. It seemed to be running just fine. And then the text message said something about the check engine light was on. So fucking what? Most people I know have a vehicle that's over 10 years old are driving around with check engine light on. Look. Check engine light. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I checked it. It's still there. Nothing worth worrying about. It's some kind of faulty sensor or sensor connection. It has nothing to do with the performance of the car. The car drives fucking great. Her car was driving just fine. But, I don't know, fucking women who are stupid when it comes to cars, which includes Priscilla, apparently, think a check engine light is some kind of a big fucking deal. It used to crack me up when drivers, when I first started working at AAA cab, and new drivers come in and say to the cage, there's a check engine light on. Like, they'd go check out a cab, and they'd come back in, the check engine light is on. It's a fucking taxi, dude. It's a fucking 8-year-old car with fucking 300,000 miles on it. Of course the check engine light is on. Did you check the engine? Is it still there? Good, go to work. And I would see sometimes what they would do if the new driver, old drivers of course know better. It's like, yeah, it's the check engine light is on. Yeah, it's a taxi, they're all on. We keep them running, we keep the air conditioning for functioning. We're not stressed about whether or not every sensor is performing perfectly so that light shuts off. But I do remember, like, one time someone was making a big deal out of it, and somebody from the shop came in and pulled the front of his dash apart and put a piece of black electrical tape over the light. And I told him, okay, it's fixed, now go to work. That will always stick with me. It was just so ridiculous. The guy was so upset about it. He was like, dude, don't you understand what that motor, what that light means? It just means that the computer is throwing some kind of a fault, and it's a bunch of stupid shit that has nothing to do with the performance of the vehicle that will throw a fault. It's did you check the engine? Is it still there? Good. That's all you gotta do. Check it. it. Doesn't mean you can't drive it. Apparently that was her deal. She was so, can't drive it because it's check engine. But never mind the fact she still drove it to the bar, and she's talking about how she had to go drive all her Saturday errands in it. But, her doing laundry and getting groceries, it's good enough for that. But, me actually getting to work and not losing out on $160 worth of income, that's not important. Good to know you've declared your priorities, and that's fine. And my priority is a partner that is going to be a little bit more concerned about me than that. And hey, maybe that partner will be the woman that I met last night, whose name I'm not remembering right now. I'm so bad with names. I remember her face though. I remember her hair. I remember her mannerisms. And I'm really, really hoping she calls me tonight after work or texts me. We can have some dinners and lunch or something after work. I definitely want to hang out with her. And I know I mentioned her on my last video, so I can always back that up and remind myself what her name was. It's just thinking about Priscilla fucking pisses me off, and I don't need to be pissed off about that on my way into work, but I am. Wow, it's 4:53 right now. I'll be kind of pushing it. Reams Road. So yeah, Pebble Creek Parkway is the same thing as Reams Road. And the exit on I-10 used to be labeled Reams Road. I just hate the whole concept of street names or place names changing. Once things have names, that's their names. Deal with it. A road that is this far, it goes north and south, this far west of Central, should at all times be called Reams Road, just like it used to at all times be called Reams Road. This is with my navigation, the fact that they've changed it. Probably my coworkers directly in front of me. So I keep going back and trying to talk about how Monday, it was such a frustrating day for me going home from work last week, which is all a week ago now because it's Monday now, and how it's so frustrating I didn't even make it to work on Tuesday. And granted, I was really feeling sick Tuesday, but I think a lot of that just had to do with sleep, and a lot of that had to do with just how difficult it was to get home from work on Monday. And why I was trying to get back to that was, I do remember as I was listening to Gatos and Chad, as I was leaving Chase Bank, because I had this whole ordeal with trying to get money on my Costco card so I could get gas in my car and get it from Chase Bank, and for some reason their automation wanted me to give them the last 4 digits of that account, which I didn't know. And then I thought, well, I can log into my online banking and get it that way, but then for some reason I couldn't get logged into my online banking, so I ended up going to the bank branch. This situation was frustrating. There's somebody going into the front other entrance. There are some people that work at the other end of that building. I'm not one of those people. I work at the far end of the building, which is a half mile away from here. Sometimes I can't hardly see this intersection of Orangewood. Technically, I think this is just a private driveway, but I don't know. It's Orangewood Drive in my mind, or Orangewood Avenue. It is got a street sign designated as Orangewood, where it's a dirt road in the opposite direction. Anyway, Chad and Gatos were talking about how there's not a federally mandated standard for charging connections, and voltages for that matter, and amperage, for electric cars, and how all the different brands of electric cars, specifically Tesla, have their own incompatible charging systems, and how problematic that is, and how that's one of those things that's dramatically slowing the adoption of electric cars. And people who are thinking, oh yeah, I'd like to get an electric car, just don't even understand that. until they actually go to purchase the electric car. And some people go as far as to purchase electric cars and don't even realize, because the people selling them, that's not a selling point. That incompatibility is not a selling point. So, you know, they're not even telling you that in the dealership. They're just, it does this and it'll save you this much money on not buying gas and blah, 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 blah. So I guess the conclusion I was trying to get to that is, yeah, a lot to ask for in when the government can't even manage to mandate that. I mean, imagine if gas cars were like that. Imagine if, like, the only gas stations I could take my Saturn to were ones that were equipped to charge, or ones that were equipped to fuel General Motors cars from the early 2000s and 1990s. And if those used a different kind of gas hole than Ford vehicles, and used different kind of gas holes than Nissans and Toyotas, what a clusterfuck that would be. But that's essentially what the situation is with electric cars. And I guess I was trying to draw an analogy between that and the incompatibilities between iPhones and Androids, and how it's just making it so tedious trying to put this video together, the next chapter of my vlog. But it's going to be pretty cool when it gets posted. Of course, by the time you see this, it will have long since been posted. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.